Well, good morning. We're going to do a little walk in the woods, look for some edible plants, some medicinal plants, and we're going to be going through a little boggy area, so it's probably really buggy. So first thing I'm going to do is grab some cedar leaves, flat needles, rough shaggy bark, really fragrant. They also call them arborvitas at garden centers and things like that. And what you do with the leaves is you crush them up. Crush them, roll them in your hand, and you get that cedar oil all over your hand, and then you put it on your arms, your neck, ears, legs. And it should keep some of the bugs away, at least a few of them. I mean, it's not 100%, it's certainly not DEET, and it's not going to get rid of ticks, but, you know. Actually, cedar oil is toxic, so potentially if a tick did get on you, it could bother the tick enough that it might drop off, but I'm not guaranteeing that. Before we go any farther, right here's a plant. This is our northern Wisconsin native rhododendron. There's a big flower bud on this one. It's called Labrador tea. The leaves actually make a really fabulous tea. You pick the leaves. They're kind of fuzzy brown underneath, green on top, and take the leaves and you dry them, crush them up and put them in a tea ball, and it really makes a nice fragrant yummy tea.
How many, like for a cup of tea or a pot
Just
of tea,
enough
how
to
much?
fill a tea ball.
Okay.
I mean, when you dry it, it concentrates it, and you crush it up. It will release the flavor better. So you really only need a tea bag's worth. Just like you know any box tea that you get in little bags. So that's all you need for 1 cup.
All right. Thank you.
Here's another good tea. Wintergreen. There's all kinds of stuff to eat right here. Wintergreen tea is fabulous. Just the leaves. Little trail snack just to chew on. And it doesn't hurt your breath either. Not that anything or animal in the woods is going to care about that. Huh. These little tiny white flowers here. It's a plant called gold thread. Gold thread is, here's one that's not flowering. The reason it's called gold thread is obvious. That's its root. Bright yellow or gold. Gold thread has 3 little leaves, real shiny, and these little tiny white flowers in spring. This has been used for probably centuries as a toothache remedy. It's also one of the strongest natural plant bitters in the plant kingdom. Hands down. It is so bitter you can barely chew on the root, but I tell you what, it makes your mouth numb. If you have a toothache, it's gone.
Oh.
Reindeer lichen. It's edible, but certainly not choice. As my friend Scott Steffens would say, it's kind of earthy. I have crushed it up and made it into flour, added it to bread to make a bread, and it was pretty much the most awful bread I've ever eaten. Reindeer seem to like it. That's why they call it reindeer lichen. It grows in the tundra. It grows in the Arctic Circle all the way down into Wisconsin. in a pinch, it's high in protein if you can stomach it. Mix it up make tea out of wintergreen, mix that up and make a shake out of it, and maybe it's tolerable. I'm not so sure. This little tree here is called serviceberry. The Latin is amelancher. Right now it's flowering. It's late May, about 2 weeks before Memorial Weekend. This is usually always flowering in May. It's one of the first flowering trees. And it's also called Juneberry. In about the end of June, early July, it has big purple berries, and they are fabulous. They do have seeds, but they are fabulous berries. They're not pits like a cherry would have. They're just tiny little seeds. Huh. I can talk about this a minute. This is sphagnum moss. Decayed sphagnum moss they sell in garden centers as peat moss. And it grows in bogs. Very soft, it's super water absorbent, so if you dry this out, let this dry. Centuries ago they used this as liners for diapers for babies. When they wet themselves, this would absorb any liquids. It's also has some antiseptic properties, so it's good to put on wounds, cuts. Probably wouldn't put it on real deep cuts, but to stop the bleeding, and some antiseptic properties, antibiotic properties, it's probably could be a lifesaver potentially.